Good morning. Um, Hello, everyone. I have a word this morning that the Lord pressed on my heart to release for my dear sister, Tabitha Brown. Um, I pray that this message reached to you. I don't know how, but it's by not by might nor power, but by the Spirit of the living God that this will get to you. Um, I pray all is well. Um, this morning I had a dream. Um, in the dream there were two people. There were other people, but specifically there were two people. Tabitha was one of them, and there was another person that was in the dream. I won't call the name of that person. Um, but in the dream, I saw it's as if they were preparing a meal, and the meal it was like there was a blender. They was making I think they were making porridge, and they're blending stuff together. I think they were making plant porridge, and I was standing next, just watching what was happening. And as I was watching, they cut up the person cut up the plantain, and Tabitha cut up the plantain and then placed it in a blender. And I was looking, I'm like, why would you put that in there? Because there was some other mixture. I'm like, I don't think that will go together. And the person um that was looking, they said, oh, it's okay, you could blend it, it's all right, no problem. And I was saying, I don't know, I don't think that's a good idea. Either way, they still went ahead and blend and put the stuff in the blender, and they blended up. And then I got the pot, and I was like, oh, let me boil it out some more, since you're gonna use that to blend. Let me boil out whatever you blend so it will be better. And they was like, no, I don't want it to be boiled out. I want it to be the way it is. And I said, okay. And I said, I don't know if I could eat it like that. So I was like, okay, you know what? Either way, let me prepare it for you. Let me put it together then. Let me pour it in a plate. And Tab was like, no, I want it my way. I want it the way I want. I was like, okay, no problem. I won't fight you. No problem. Then, um, I woke up out of the dream, and I was like, that's a odd dream. Why am I dreaming about Tabitha? I love her personality. I mean, her quote where she said, it's my business. um, Beautiful soul, beautiful heart. But the word of the Lord for you, Tabitha, is the Lord said, I've sent you in not to be accepted by the world, but I send you in to be a part and be accepted by me, the Lord thy God. Not me, Tamika, sorry, but the Lord thy God. As he said, I didn't send you in to be accepted by the world, but to be set apart for me. God said that He is like He showed me you as a rose, and it's a single beautiful red rose. And the rose, but this was different because this rose was coming up out of out of the soil, like a stem by itself, like it does shoot up out of the soil. And it was just a single rose in the soil. And usually when you see roses, you see like a rose bush and they come off of the stem, but this rose was by itself, and it was in a soil. And this what in the soil, or what was around the soil, it was a lot of like maggots and this nasty stuff that was around the soil. And when you see that, you probably think, oh, it's fertile ground, it's fertile. But God said, no, the things that are there, it is not to bring fruitation to that soil, but it's to eat it up. And it's as if I see the rose, and the rose is there, and whatever's around it, it's trying to eat up the soil so the rose itself will die. And God said, I need you to come out. I send you in for a purpose, but I need you to come out and do not fall into the traps of the world. Do not fall into the enticement of the world. He's given you his heart. He said, I've given you my heart to love man, to love them the way I love them, but hate the sin. He said, I want you to love them, yes, but hate the sin. Do not entice the sin. Do not encourage the sin, but be set apart. He said, I pull you up and I've established you. I've opened doors for you, but you are being drawn in. And God said, I didn't open that door for you for that purpose. I opened that door for you to go to show them my love and my purpose. God said, I've held you, I've kept you, I've bring you through so much, daughter. He said, do not fall into temptation. It's enticing. Yes. And I said, as you come up, as you go up higher, as I said, as I see you in the soil and, the rose that is standing up tall, but what's around the soil is trying to shrink it and let it die. It looks like you see it and you say, well, no, it's to help it. But God said it's not to help it, it's to try to kill the soil. And once the soil is dried up, there's no nurturing happening for that rose. So what's going to happen for that rose? God said for you, for you and Chance, your marriage, God said, I've kept you both. I've held you. I've set you both apart for a purpose. God said the things that you have been through. He said, I was in the midst of it. I was the one keeping you both. I was the one keeping your marriage. When the tests and the trials came, God said, I was the one. I was the one that was in the midst of it. God said, forget not that. Forget not the promises that I've given unto you. But do not try to receive it the world's way. Receive it in the way I have ordained for you to receive it. He gave me Isaiah 8, verse from verse 11 to 18. I'm going to read it. It said, this is what the Lord said to me with his strong hand upon me, warning me not to follow the ways of this people. Do not call conspiracy everything this people call conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear. Do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread. He will be a holy place for both Israel and Judah. He will be a stone that causes people to stumble and a rock that makes them fall. And for the people of Jerusalem, he will be a trap and a snare. Many of them will stumble. They will fall and be broken. They will be snared and captured. Bind up the testimony of warning and seal up God's instructions among my disciples. I will wait for the Lord, who is the hiding place, who is hiding his face from the descendants of Jacob. I will put my trust in him. Here am I, and the children the Lord has given me. We are signs and symbols in Israel from the Lord Almighty who dwells on Mount Zion. He said, listen, I have set you apart. Do not fall into the temptation. The world will try to sell you everything to entice you and say, okay, as God has established you, here comes the devil will try to come and entice you and say, listen, go here, accept this, do it this way. This will be better. This will will appease the flesh better. Do it, walk this way. And God said, no, be separated. He said, I've established you not for you to be accepted by the world, but be set apart for me, says God. He's calling you to a higher place in him. And your mouthpiece he's given you the authority to speak. But again, the devil will try to come and try to, as I said, he always try to counterfeit. And the blessing sometimes seems like it's from God, but it's counterfeit. And God said, you must seek me for understanding. Seek me for everything that you do. Not questioning your relationship with God. Because daughter, you walk with the heart of God. But God said, I don't want that heart to be compromised. And that's what the devil is trying to do, compromise. Again, I pray that this message reached you. I will not add or take away from what the Lord said. But I pray that this message reached to you, my sister. And that you will walk in the way of the Lord and not the things of the world. As he said, I've given you the heart to love my people. But he said, love them, but hate the sin. Do not entice it. God bless you. I pray that you and your family continuously be blessed. And I love you with the love of God. Take care.